In helping people with relationships for quite a while and doing it from a practical and esoteric way, there are two paths that I see couples taking pretty much. One is you're going to find a partner where your partner is really good at a bunch of stuff and you're really good at a bunch of stuff and it's different. And then what you're doing is you're actually relating to your partner to learn and integrate what your partner is good at with you in a way that then allows you to do the things that are important to you and follow your own values. In other words, you're learning from each other as you move forward, right? So you're leveraging and learning what each other is good at in a way that it actually propels you forward. Not in the same way that your partner does it, but learning from what your partner is actually good at to bring it in. For example, one of my exes before we broke up was just really good at starting conversations with strangers, just really good, get their whole life story in 30 seconds. I'm like, how do you do that? And then she said, I don't know how I do that. So I just watched her a bunch and then asked her eventually, do you realize what you just did? She's like, no. I'm like, you did this. And then I was able to replicate it. And I'm like, that's how you do it. For her, it was part of her social values. She enjoyed doing it that way. For me, it's when I first meet people or when they have a first session with me or a client become a client, brand new client, that type of thing. So a different application. So the application of that skill as applied to my values. My current partner is an artist. I bring a business mindset and a personal growth mindset. She has a bit of a personal growth mindset and an art mindset. And so when she's selling art, I would bring to her the business aspect of it. Hey, how can we structure an offer here? And that's a whole nother conversation that I can get into. And then relate it in a way to her values to be able to create something that spoke what she wanted her brand to speak so that she could focus on the art. So that's one path, the idea of learning from each other with what each other's good at and being able to bring it in a way that resonates with your values. Another one is that you're actually both really good at the same things. And then it becomes, okay, what are we going to do with this together? How are we moving forward together? Which is different. It sounds the same, but it's different because, okay, maybe both people love to travel. Okay, so how do we bring long distance travel into our relationship so that we're together traveling, that kind of thing? Two different ways. And they're this overarching dynamic of how the relationship unfolds that are very important to figure out. And so just think about that when you're finding a partner, paying attention to it just because they're different than you, just because there's not a lot in common. That doesn't mean you can't make a relationship work. You absolutely can, and you can have a very fulfilling relationship. And they could be giving you the very things that you need to actually get the other things you want out of life, right? So both work, right? Whether you relate in the same values, like somebody that's equally both people that want to travel, or whether you have vastly different values. And how do we actually relate these together? Okay. Now, you're not necessarily going to know which path of those is the one that you actually end up finding. But when you write down what it is that you want to find in a relationship and you get really clear on it and you start talking to the person, you're going to figure out, hey, are they giving me the things that I need and I'm giving them the things they need? Or do we both actually have this and now we're just able to do it together? So it'll start to unfold. And if you want my help in finding a partner, I'll leave a link in the description.